back in the 1930s where it all began. Comics were starting to be added in the panels of newspapers, eventually becoming series of comic books. But it was then one fateful day in 1939, a man came to be. He was faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman, the Man of Steel who changed comic books forever, and is still a lovable character to this day. I mean, what couldn't you want from him? He's fast, he's strong, he's got a girl, he's got iconic villains, he becomes gay at one point. Wait, what? Since when? Okay, I know it's not from the Superman comics, but what? Where did this come from? Never mind. We aren't here to talk about shenanigans. We are here to talk about Superman. It was 1933 where writer Jerry Siegel and artist Joe Shuster had just created a legacy, a hero, while they were in high school. You're probably wondering if they got caught not paying attention to class. I mean, who knows? Maybe they waited until lunch. Well, anyways, years passed, and on April 18th of 1939, Superman made his debut in Action Comics #1. The story begins with a father saving his child from being destroyed along with the rest of their home planet, Krypton. The boy's name was Kal-El, and his father was a scientist who created a capsule for him to be launched off to the planet Earth. Now, I know what you're thinking. Clearly that this was the original Goku or whatnot, but honestly, I don't really see it resembling. I mean, they're not the same person. I get it, the backstory's a little bit similar, but you get my point. Never mind. He would then land on Earth and into an orphanage. Over the next few years, he was given a new name, Clark Kent, who would work for the Daily Star. Yeah, you heard me, there was no Daily Planet yet. I know, this whole backstory's jumbled up and whatnot, but it will make sense later, I promise. He would then decide to help those in need and use his powers for good by becoming the superhero named Superman. His first ever crime he handled was with a woman named Evelyn Curry. She was accused of murder and was sentenced with an execution. When Superman found out, he started to gather some evidence and managed to find full evidence that she was innocent. He would then confront the governor, and by confront I mean break it through the damn door, lifting up the frightened butler and break it through another door that was made of steel. Like, damn, isn't that just badass or what? I mean, the guy just didn't care. He just broke in and woke up the governor. Eventually, he showed proof that she was innocent, and the butler tried to shoot Superman. Next thing you know it, he was all over the news and was spreading like wildfire. His boss asked him to get more information about him and photos of Superman. Eventually, Superman would then beat the living crap out of a wife abuser. Holy shit! And then for some reason after that, Clark asked Lois out for a date night? What? So we're just gonna act like that didn't just happen. Like he just beat the crap out of a wife abuser. And then we're just cutting to the... Okay then. Nothing new, I guess. They would then go on their date night and have a little dance moment. Aw, that's nice. Until some scumbag tried to barge in. And when he was rejected, he tried to fight Clark. Dude has no idea what he just did. Like, he just punched Superman. He doesn't even know. If he knew, I bet he would have pissed himself. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Instead, he kidnapped Lois and put her in his car with his boys. You know, da boys. Lucky for Lois, Superman was conveniently there to stop them. Wow. He lifts up the car and then leaves this poor dude on a pole for what appears to be all night. I don't know if that's an error or not, but literally it shows him sitting there all night. Look, it's morning now. Damn! Superman was ruthless back then, huh? We eventually go back to Kent, where he was given an assignment to go write news about a public war going on. So he takes a train to Washington and discovers the man being suspicious was Senator Barrows. He then asked who he was to someone, and it turned out to be a man named Alex Greer, a man who was corrupting the senator. When Superman goes in and takes Alex for flight, it ends just like that? What? You can't be serious! Oh well, that's how comics are sometimes, you know, like they just leave you on a cliffhanger. But hey, you know what? For the first Superman comic, it was actually really good. Hell, it even had Satara the Magician, who is the future father of a famous DC hero named Satana, which is crazy that they already hinted out future DC heroes. As time passed by, they eventually gave their rights to Detective Comics, which is DC Comics in the future. And you want to guess how much they paid for the rights? $20,000? $50,000? No. Not even close. They paid $130 for the rights of Superman. That's an absolute steal! Damn, that's crazy, but hey, you know what? It was worth it, because over time, Superman's story starts to become what we know today, including changing to the name Daily Star to Daily Planet due to conflict of mistaking real-world newspapers. I don't know how that happened, but, you know, hey, there was apparently one called Daily Star. However, in 1941, kids were saving up their money to buy the new comic book called World's Best Comics, or which you would people know, World's Finest, which in other words was the first ever crossover with Superman and Batman and Robin. Wow! 2 icons in the same comic? What a deal! Eventually, in a radio show of 1943, they announced Superman's weakness for the very first time: kryptonite. Radioactive rocks that came from Krypton.
Wait, rocks? You mean crystals?
No, Sans. They are rocks.
Can we get a...
No, Sans. We are not getting another pet.
But bro, it glows like a glow stick. I want a glow stick rock for a pet.
You already have a pet rock named Rocky, and you hardly ever feed him. Just look at him.
Please?
No.
Well, fine.
I can't with him. Anyways, kryptonite was then finally introduced into the comics fully in 1949, which then headed to the end of the Golden Era and moved down to the Silver Era in 1955, where characters like Krypto, Supergirl, Brainiac, and so much more were then introduced. More of Superman's origin was told, and even TV shows were being pitched and put on screens. Everyone adored him. He even was so popular that at the end of the Silver Age in 1971 and during the Bronze Age, they would then release in 1978. Superman would then make it to the big screen, played by the legend actor himself, Christopher Reeves, and gave us that iconic John Williams theme. After 1985, Superman would go through the Crisis of Infinite Earths in 1986, and would head to what they call the Dark Age, and would end in 2000. From there on out, over the next 25 years, we would have the Superman we know today. And yes, me and Sans saw the new film, and we loved it!
Would you say it was Superman?
Sans, shut up!
Oh, come on, you're smiling.
I am, and I hate it! Ugh. We'll talk about this later. But, you know what? There was one last thing I forgot to mention. Superman, during the Golden Age, was never meant to fly. Yeah, you're probably looking at me like I'm crazy or something, but no, it's true. It was because of budgets. Superman was only able to jump tall buildings in a single bound, just like in the story and whatnot. However, people kept mistaking it because it was comic books. You know, you can't see him fly. It's not movable. It's like pictures on a paper, you know? And on the radio station, they started correcting people like, no, he can't fly. But during 1941's cartoon, he just started flying. People kept mistaking it for that because they wanted to save money, time, and budget, you know, for the show. Eventually, the creators just thought it was just a good idea anyway, so they just made Superman fly. So after all this time, and actually the reason why Superman flew in the cartoon is because the people drawing it actually thought he was flying. So yeah, Superman technically started flying on accident. But that, my friends, is the story of how Superman became what he is today. The man who is the symbol of hope. Don't worry, we will do separate videos on all the different ages. This video is just to explain how much he has changed over the years, and there will be many more to come. Man, now I'm in the mood to watch Superman.
You wanna watch Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman?
No!